and welcome to this short course on managing stress and anxiety during the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Riona. I'm a senior occupational therapist in the Department of Psychiatry in St James's Hospital in Dublin. The purpose of this course is firstly to help you to become more aware and identify signs and symptoms that you might be experiencing during this time, and then to give you lots of practical tips and strategies to help you cope with that stress, to make sure to keep well during this really difficult time, and especially just to look after your mental health. So the way I'm going to break down this video is to firstly talk about what is stress, how does it work, how do we experience it, and then to break it down into three different areas. So the physical signs and how we cope with our physical sensation of stress, the thinking and how we think, how our thoughts are and how to deal with that, and the behaviours, what we are doing every day and how stress can affect that. So I'll break it down into the three different areas so you'll be able to dip in and out of each one if you find one more useful. So as an occupational therapist, I look at all the different things that people do every day, from getting up, getting dressed, making breakfast, going on a bus or driving your car, using social media to contact people, all the things that are important to you, like as well as going to work, hobbies, you're going for walks, playing basketball, any groups that you're in, any things that you do in the evenings, all the different things that are important to you, things that you need to do, things that you want to do, things that make you who you are. So with the pandemic, all those things are affected. Everything we're doing is affected. The places that we're doing them are affected. Our worlds have kind of shrunken a lot. And it's really difficult time. So as an occupational therapist, I want to look at how are you adapting to that? How are you managing that? How are you coping with that? How can we change things to still incorporate all those things that are important to us, all the things that we need to do, pay our bills and get our shopping and go to work or do volunteer work or study, or even just managing our home and keeping our home running. How are we doing that? Managing kids at home or managing to see our family and keep in contact with people that are important to us. Most important thing is to figure out how are we managing, how are we coping, and to just figure out ways that will really benefit us to get through this and to cope as best we can and to keep our mental health as well, keep us and our mental health as well as it can be to get through this difficult period. So what is stress and what is anxiety? So stress is normally our response to a stressor. So something like a deadline. So if we have a deadline, our response is that we physically feel more tense in our shoulders or our stomach. Our thoughts are like, oh God, am I going to get this done? How am I going to get it in time? Will it be good? Will I pass? Will I fit? Like, how is it going to work? And our behaviours, like we can be avoiding things, or we can be snacking, or we can be trying to do 10 other things and procrastinate rather than doing it. So that's how we react to a stressor, and that's how we feel stressed. There's lots of other ways that people experience stress, but just for some examples. And then generally as that deadline passes, then our stress is relieved and we get on with our everyday life. Anxiety, on the other hand, it can be quite similar in the symptoms. You know, we can have those physical symptoms, we can have difficulty sleeping or with our diet or with our thoughts, but they can be a little bit more severe and they can also continue on when the stressor is gone. So the difficulty with the pandemic now is that there's constant stressors. We're constantly seeing people with masks on the street, or we're constantly seeing the news, or we're getting texts on our social media. So the stressors are continually coming. We're not really getting a break. So our feeling and our reaction to that, our stress, can be very much elevated. And we need to figure out how to continue to work on that, because it's not necessarily going away. And it can also, maybe you're not feeling it, or you're not seeing it, but it can be this underlying stress there. So it's important for us to know how it's affecting us and then how to continue to deal with it. This is something that's really challenging and really difficult. It's normal to feel stressed and anxious at this time, completely normal, and I'm sure everybody is feeling it. But at the same time, if you feel it's affecting you to a different level where it's really getting to you and getting to your everyday life, talking to your GP and just discussing it and seeing what your options are would be really important. So now we will go on and start breaking down the different areas of our physical feelings, our emotions, the thoughts that we have and the behaviours. It's important to know that those three different areas impacting on each other. So when we're feeling physically stressed, it can affect how we think and how we behave. So it's really important to break that cycle so that it doesn't keep going and building and spiraling up. We need to break that cycle, and we can do that at each different stage. One way to start to deal with and cope with stress is to be more aware of how it's affecting you. So a really good idea might be to start a worry diary. So get a piece of paper and draw a line across, and on the top write down your physical feelings. On the next column, write down your emotional feelings. On the next column, write your thoughts. What are you thinking at that time? The next column, write down your behaviors. What are you doing? How are you reacting to that? And try and keep a diary. So if a situation arises, how did you feel? What did you think? What were your feelings? And what did you do? So trying to become more aware of how you're reacting to stressful situations will really help you to then be able to address them later.